Live streaming made easy with ZEGOCLOUD. Now, if you're a developer and you want to create a real-time interactive web application, then you should definitely consider adding a live streaming feature to your app. It's super popular these days. Every major social media platform has live streaming. It's also very easy to add with ZEGOCLOUD. They have a drop-in live streaming solution for developers. All you need to do is go to their website, sign up and create a new project. It takes just a few minutes to integrate live streaming into your app. And the best thing is that they are giving away 10,000 free minutes to new users. So you can get started with live streaming right away without worrying about any extra cost. All right, let's get started. First things first, navigate to the folder where you want to create your project. So, in my case, it's Desktop Streaming Project. Once you're there, run the command npm create vite latest. This will initialize a new Vite project. Now you'll be prompted to enter a project name. Let's call it Streaming App. Then you need to select your framework. We're using React in this case, so choose React and hit Enter. After that, run npm install to install all the dependencies. Now open your project in Visual Studio Code, and once you do that, you'll see a few files. Now we can clean up the starter template because we don't really need some of the files and code that comes with it by default. And finally, delete the contents of the city, JSON file, and now we have a clean project to start building our application. Let's start by creating our components. In this case, I'll create two components, join and host. Each component will handle a different part of our application, like joining a live stream or hosting one. So, in the src folder, create a new file called join.js and copy this code right here. The code creates a functional component called join and sets up a basic structure for it. We'll expand on this later, but for now, let's save this file and move on to the next component. Now create another file called host.js and copy this code. Like the join component, this code creates a functional component called host. Again, we'll expand on this later. Let's save this file and come back to the src folder file called app.jsa and copy this code. This component will be the root of our application. It contains the other two components, host and join. And now it's time to set up conditional rendering. The idea is that when the app starts, it shows the home page with the host and join buttons. When the user clicks host, it renders the host page. And when the user clicks join, it renders the join page. So let's go ahead and implement that. At the top of the app component, let's declare a variable called page, which will determine which component to render. Initially, let's set it to home. Now we need to render different components based on the value of the page variable. To do this, let's use a switch statement. Inside the switch, we'll have cases for host, join, and a default case that renders the home component. If the page is home, we'll display some text along with the host and join buttons. These buttons will be implemented using HTML buttons and will have on-click handlers that change the value of the page variable to either host or join, causing the appropriate component to render. Before moving on, let's take care of one more thing. Currently, when we try to click on the host or join button, nothing happens. That's because we haven't imported the host and join components yet. So, let's fix that. At the top of the file, add the following line to import the host component. And similarly, add this line to import the join component. By doing this, we've successfully set up conditional rendering in our application. Now when you click the host button, it renders the host page, and clicking join renders the join page. One more thing we need to take care of before proceeding is to pass some data from the app component to the host and join components using props. Let's move on to the next step. Before implementing the ZEGOCLOUD SDK, let's add some styling to our components. Right now, they look pretty bare bones, and we want them to look better. So, let's make them look good. And also, we'll remove the default styles that Vake comes with. Okay, with that done, let's go back to the code and start implementing the ZEGOCLOUD Software Development Kit. Start by signing up on the ZEGOCLOUD website and create a new project. Once you've created your project, you'll be provided with an app ID and an app sign key. Keep these handy as you'll need them later to connect your app to ZEGOCLOUD. Now, let's implement the ZEGOCLOUD SDK in our host component. Inside that component, we create a container ref, which is simply a reference to the part of our UI where Zego will render the live streaming player and controls. We also generate a unique roomID using date. Now, so every time a host starts a live, a fresh room is created automatically. All the actual setup happens inside a use effect, so it runs only when the component loads. Here, we first define our Zego app credentials, the app ID and app sign you get from your ZEGOCLOUD dashboard. Then we create a random user ID for the host and use these values to generate a kit token with generate kit token for test. This token contains everything needed to authenticate the host. With that token, we create a Zego instance and immediately call join room. Passing in our configuration, we tell Zego to use container ref. Current to mount the live interface. Set the scenario to live streaming, allowing screen sharing, and enable text chat. We also generate a shareable audience link that includes the room ID, so viewers can easily join. Let's start the meeting. We have a few options here. First one is turn on microphone. When joining, true. This means that the microphone will automatically turn on when they join the room. They don't need to press any button. It's enabled by default. Same for turn on camera when joining, true. This means that the camera will also automatically turn on when joining the room. Next one is show room timer, true. This will show the timer inside the room so you can count the session time. Next one is show screen sharing, button true. This will enable the screen sharing option for the participants with a button. And the last one is show text chat, true. This will allow the participants to do a real-time text chat in the room. And the last one is role, host. You can define the user role as host, who can manage and control the session. Now we can start the meeting. Set dependency room ID. Then we need to install Zego Wiki pre-built. Now preview the website. I turned off my camera. Now everything is working fine, devices, and join the room using the room ID passed as a prop. The component returns a UI with a back button for navigation, a heading indicating the user is a viewer, the current room ID for sharing, and a container div where Zego will mount the live streaming player. Now the magic happens inside the join room function. First, we create a container reference using useRef. This is where the live stream video and the interface will appear on the page. It acts as a placeholder for the video player. Next, we check the room ID. We grab it from the URL using new URL search params. If the URL has a room ID, we use it. Otherwise, it stays empty. This ensures that the audience joins the correct live session. Inside useEffect, we first check. If there's no room ID, we simply stop. There's no room to join, so nothing happens. Then, we set up the Zego app credentials. We use app ID and app sign, which you get when you create a project on the ZEGOCLOUD dashboard. These credentials allow our app to communicate with Zego servers securely. After that, we create a random user ID. This ensures that every audience member is unique, so multiple people can join the same session without conflicts. Next, we generate a kit token for authentication. Notice that we pass audience as the role. This makes sure the user joins as a viewer only. they can watch the stream but cannot broadcast. With the token now set, we create the Zego UI Kit instance. Using this token, this instance will manage the live streaming session. First, we have a back button. When clicked, it calls the onBack function, which can take the user back to the previous page or home screen. Next, there's a heading that says, Join as Audience, to indicate the purpose of this page. Then, we have an input field. This lets the audience enter the room ID they want to join. The value of the input is bound to room ID, and OnChange updates the room ID state whenever the user types. Beside the input, there's a Join button. When clicked, it triggers Set Room ID. This ensures the entered room ID is stored in the state, which will then be used to join the live stream. Finally, there's a container div with a reference container ref. This is where the ZEGO Live Streaming UI will be rendered. It has a width of 100% and a height of 75% of the viewport height minus some top margin for spacing. Now let's talk about the logic. We have to join it with plus sign. Now preview the website. I turned off my camera. Now everything is working fine. Here we are, facing room ID contains illegal characters. So let's try to fix it. We need to cut window from here and cut config and write like me. Now add back button and room ID and container ref in host component. Just copy join component code and paste it in the host component. Now our app is ready. Test it, copy the share link and join as an audience in another tab. And click Go Live button and start live. You can also text chat with audience. Now our app is completely ready. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends.